For decades, the playbook for economic success in the developing world seemed pretty simple. Just open your doors to global money. The thinking was that when all that international capital rushes in, a country's financial system gets this major upgrade, and that paves the way for real growth. But as we're about to find out, the real story, it's not nearly that simple. So let's get into it.
So that really brings us to the heart of it all. Is inviting global capital in, is it really the magic bullet for transforming a developing economy? It's this huge promise that has shaped global policy for years. But what happens when we actually stop and look at the evidence?
And look, the promise itself is a powerful one, right? The mainstream belief for a long time has been that financial globalization, which is really just a fancy way of saying opening a country up to international money, is the fastest track to building a modern, efficient financial sector. And this quote just nails that theory perfectly. The idea is that when capital can flow freely, it brings in new players, it forces everyone to be more transparent, and it basically imports all the best practices from around the globe. It's supposed to make the whole system smarter at putting money where it's needed most.
But this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. To understand what's actually happening on the ground, we have to make a crucial distinction, and that's the difference between a financial system that's just getting bigger and one that's actually getting better. They are not the same thing.
Okay, so first up, let's talk financial growth. This one's pretty easy to get your head around. It's all about size, about volume. When a system is growing, you're seeing more loans, a bigger stock market, and just, well, a lot more money moving around the system. It's the kind of thing you can easily see and measure.
But then you've got financial development, and this is totally different. This is all about quality, not quantity. A developed system is one that gets better at its fundamental jobs. Is it putting money into the right projects? Is it transparent? Is it managing risk in a smart way? It's all about how well the system actually works.
So let's just put it side by side. Growth means bigger. More money, more credit, a fatter stock market. Development means better. More efficiency, stronger rules, smarter risk-taking. And the billion-dollar question is, when you open the floodgates to global capital, are you getting both, or are you just getting bigger?
And to make this idea of better a little more concrete, economists will point to these 5 core jobs. A truly developed, healthy financial system is amazing at all of these things, from figuring out where to invest money wisely, to making sure companies are well run, all the way down to just making it easy to buy and sell stuff. This is the real engine room of a healthy economy.
So, does globalization actually help with these core jobs, or does it just pump up the volume? Well, a really fascinating study by Edgar Tovar Garcia decided to put this exact question to the test. And what they found, well, it's pretty eye-opening.
The research team looked at 26 transition economies over a 14-year span. Now, these are countries that were in the process of opening up their economies and plugging into the global system. So they were the absolute perfect real-world laboratory to see if that globalization promise actually holds up.
And the verdict that came back, well, let's just say it wasn't quite what the old textbooks would have you believe. It was pretty surprising, and it really forces us to rethink how we look at global finance.
Okay, check out this table because this is where it gets really interesting. The results are just so clear. When you look at the growth stuff, the amount of credit, stock market activity, globalization had a big positive impact. Green check marks, all good. But when you look at the development metrics, the quality stuff, the story completely changes. It actually had a negative effect on corporate governance. And it did nothing, zero, for improving the quality of information out there. The only development area that got a thumbs up was mobilizing savings.
So, what does this all add up to? Well, the first part of the punchline is this. Financial globalization is fantastic at making financial systems bigger. It's great at inflating the numbers. But, and this is the absolute key, it doesn't automatically make them better. You can have a bigger system that isn't any healthier, any more stable, or any more efficient. Those core functions, they just get left in the dust.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The researchers' own conclusion says it all. The study found a clear, positive link between globalization and growth, but not between globalization and true development, which they define as that system getting better at its basic jobs.
Now, this isn't just some dusty academic debate. This difference between bigger and better has massive real-world consequences for how countries can build strong economies and, frankly, avoid catastrophic crises. So why does this matter so much?
It matters because it reveals this really dangerous trap. A country opens its borders thinking it's a shortcut. The financial sector swells up, the numbers look great,
and everybody celebrates what looks like progress. But under the surface, the foundations, the good governance, the transparency, the risk management, they haven't gotten any stronger. And what you're left with is a bigger, but much more fragile system, one that's actually more vulnerable when a shock hits.
So let's boil this all down. What are the big takeaways here? First, and most importantly, financial growth is not the same as financial development. Just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's better. Second, global capital is a powerful engine for growth, but it's a lousy one for development. And third, and this is really the whole point, building a strong financial system means strengthening your own internal institutions. You can't just import good governance. Simply opening up is no substitute for the hard work of reform at home.
And all of this leaves us with a final, really powerful question to chew on. We've seen that just flooding a system with money isn't the answer. So if it's not just about getting bigger, what are the real ingredients, the rules, the institutions, the culture that actually build a truly strong, developed, and resilient economy?